I just recently saw The Long Walk as it was on HBO, and I had to say I really enjoyed this movie. I was actually surprised at just how good a time this movie was and how much character it has. It's a simple premise, text at the beginning in the form of an acceptance letter for the titular walk kind of sets the tone. We have our main character, Ray. His mother is driving him, and she's clearly upset. Says, if only your father was here, and he barks back. He isn't. He then joins 49 other young men. There's one per state, I believe they say. We get some quick banter to establish character archetypes for the film. It's shallow at first, but, it's just a brief introduction. We'll get to know them better as the movie progresses, which I quite enjoyed. Then we get Mark Hamill in full here for the paycheck mode arrives. He briefly lays out the rules for the walk, and then they get to walking. It's real simple. They really don't waste any of our time getting to it, which I quite appreciated. As the characters walk, the physical and psychological impact of their journey takes its toll on them. And we start to see these young men open up to each other about their lives and what will they do if they win. You see, the winner gets unimaginable wealth and one wish. Now, I've heard it said before, but any tournament style that ends with a wish, it's just twisted metal to me. That's all it is. The problem with winning is that they're, much like Highlander, can be only one. I've also heard that said, but it's true. So making friends along the way comes with kind of that bittersweet knowledge. What makes it so interesting, though, is the honor and camaraderie that these characters have towards each other, especially knowing that most of them will die. There's some truly amazing and philosophical discussions about the nature of their post-Civil War society and the chances that are afforded young men when everything paints you into a corner and says, this is the only way out. They also talk about the cost of cyclical violence and just a whole bunch of detailed and interesting character moments discussing individual outlooks on the world. This movie is just walking and talking. So you need good writing, which this movie has, but you also need really good acting to anchor it. And man alive, do these actors deliver. Except for Mark Hamill, who is not nearly as imposing or grand as the script wants us to believe. But aside from him, everyone else is firing on all cylinders. It's based on a Stephen King story, so just imagine the losers from it being forced to walk hundreds of miles as they slowly die off. And you kind of get the idea of what to expect in terms of character archetypes. But the actors really make them shine. I was initially worried that a movie called The Long Walk would run, long, but did a great job with tension and pacing, with characters dying off at appropriate points in the script. Obviously, some of that tension is a little undercut, as we know that our two leads are going to make it to the end, so it's really more about the characters around them, which works. I have so many positive things to say about this movie, and it was, with it just hitting streaming, I highly recommend it. I don't think you're going to be disappointed. That being said, I do have one big issue with it, and it is a spoiler. So go watch the movie, come back for the spoiler talk, unless you just don't care. All right? You've been warned. I hated the ending. I absolutely hate this ending. I was so on board with everything in this movie, and discussions about seeing hope in the world and not pursuing revenge at the end. I was really let down when McFries? Now I can't remember how to pronounce his name, and I'm not going to be bothered to Google. Asks for the carbine and shoots Mark Hamill as Ray wanted to do. But, Ray had just sacrificed himself to prevent this cycle of vengeance and violence because he believed in his friend's positive outlook on the world. And I think he actually said something like, I can't see the good, but you can, along those lines before he dies. This undercuts Ray's death, and it isn't necessary at all. I would, much like I discussed when I was talking about Dangerous Animals, just end the movie a few moments sooner. You already have what you need there. After Ray is shot, fireworks go off and singing happens, and I believe it to be a just much better place to fade to credits as McFries screaming in pain as the jubilation erupts around him. I think it would hit harder, and in fact, you know what? Let me cut to my edit of it. Tell me that is not a haunting ending. Anyways, I really like this movie, but the long walk trips up at the end, and it really bothered me. Still recommend the movie, though. Anyways, did anyone else see this movie? And if so, what'd you think about my idea for the ending versus the original? Well, thanks for watching, and catch you on the flippy flop. Right, Bicky?